And while most of the round one battles are set, we of course are waiting for the number one seeds to get their opponents. That will be decided tonight. Avery Johnson, though, he's already got his picks in. He likes the Bucks to win the East. He likes the Suns to win the West. And so he's looking at the same matchup as we had last year, but this time, Suns coming out on top. For more on his picks and the setup for the offseason, the postseason, let's now welcome in the coach, Avery Johnson. Coach, let's start with your pick to win it all. You're picking the Suns to go all the way this year. They went all the way last year, came a couple games short. So they've been here before. So what is different this year?
Well, I think a couple of things, Jeremy, is different. I think number one, Devin Booker is just playing on another level. He's playing at an MVP level, more experience. I think the national team gold medal last year, led by Coach Greg Popovich when we won the gold medal in Japan, was a great experience. Obviously, there were some Milwaukee Bucks guys on that team, but Devin Booker's tremendously better this year. Also, DeAndre Ayton's playing for a contract. The Suns decided not to extend him last summer. So, that experience of playing in the finals, I think he wants a little bit of payback, especially with Giannis. And then they fortified their front court in terms of signing JaVale McGee. He's had a solid year coming off the bench to give them some more punch. And then all the other guys, Cam Johnson has gotten better playing off the bench. Mikal Bridges got a new contract. He's one of the few guys to play in all the 82 games, so he's always available. So I just think the depth of the Suns, Milwaukee lost PJ Tucker, their best perimeter defender. He's now with Miami. So I think all signs are pointing towards the Suns winning the NBA championship this year.
Well, and you see them as the favorites there, plus 260 atop the list over the defending champion Bucks, who are plus 475. All right, let's talk about some of the other series. The Philadelphia 76ers facing the Toronto Raptors, game one in Philly on Saturday. James Harden says, hey, you know what, I'm not feeling any pressure entering the playoffs. I mean, Coach, is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
Well, that's a bailout, just in case something goes wrong. He should be feeling pressure. Here's a guy that forced his way out of Houston, came up short in the playoffs in some of Houston's biggest moments. He also, forced his way to Brooklyn, and now he forced his way out of Brooklyn to Philadelphia, and he was saying that that's where he wanted to be all along when he wanted to get traded from Houston. So it's been a lot of excuses. Got a lot of respect for James Harden in his game. He's, I think, is going to be a future Hall of Famer. But to say that there's really no pressure, there's a lot of pressure. And it's pressure on him to get it done. The two-man game with he and Joel Embiid, it's got to play at a high level. But I also picked Toronto to win this series. Thibault is not going to be available because he's not vaccinated in Toronto because of the Canada's rules. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure on James Harden. I don't think he's been the same player as he was 2 years ago. I don't see the athleticism, the explosiveness. He's not getting to the free throw line as much. I don't think he's even dunked a basketball since he's been in uniform with Philadelphia. They're not bailing him out on some of those flopping calls. So again, I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure on James Harden entering the NBA playoffs.
Well, I mean, he's not feeling it, so he says. Golden State head coach Steve Kerr says this playoffs is a completely different scenario for his team than when they entered as favorites a couple seasons ago, and no expectations for his team. Steph Curry, who looks like he's going to be back for game one, echoed that sentiment on Thursday. Take a listen to this, Coach.
It helps just stay in the moment. Like, yeah, nobody's picking us to come out the West. At least I don't think, except our families, which is fine. It's just a matter of like literally, well, you got to win 4 games, and in order to do that, we have a certain game plan that we're going to try to execute on Saturday. And you want to get off to a good start, protect home court, and then we understand every game takes a new life of its own, and that is a fun challenge.
I mean, I don't know, Coach. I mean, they're second favorites to come out of the West, so I'm not really sure about that statement.
I'm baffled. I'm baffled by the statement. Steph Curry, you're arguably one of the top, 3 players in the NBA, and you and Klay Thompson are the best shooting backcourt. Mark Jackson said it years ago, best shooting backcourt in the history of the NBA. And whether you play 26 minutes or 18 minutes, any team that marches out Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, they're gonna be favorites, especially in the first round of an NBA series. I think what Steve Kerr was saying was, this is not a 73-win team. It doesn't have Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant on the team. Those teams obviously, were picked to win the NBA championship. They're not being picked, but there are expectations. That's why Klay Thompson showed video to some of his younger players that doesn't have a lot of NBA experience, like Wiggins and Gary Payton II, Jordan Poole. Those guys, they don't really have any NBA playoff experience, but Klay Thompson said it best. The expectation is to win an NBA championship, and anything short of that is a failed season. So I know what Steve Kerr and Steph Curry are trying to do, take some pressure off some of their young guys, trying to play the underdog, but you're not the underdog. The expectations are for you to win this first round of the series and advance.
And good news for them. They look to have Steph back for Game 1, so that's certainly good news for them. The news not as good for Dallas. They'll be missing Luka Doncic for at least Game 1 with that calf strain. Already a tough series here, even with Luka in. What can the Mavs do to counter his absence?
Well, it's going to be an uphill climb for the Mavs without Luka. Their whole offensive arsenal or program or strategy is all surrounded around Luka touching the basketball. And even when he doesn't have the ball, he's such an imposing force off the ball. He's, you got to always pay attention to him and always account for where he is on the floor. I mean, he's a walking triple-double. And he rebounds the basketball. He gets to the free throw line. He can post up. He's 9-1-1 shooter at the end of the shot clock. He makes game-winning shots. He draws double and triple teams, which spreads the floor and creates open shots for his teammates. So this is a significant loss. If he's not available for this series, we can take it one step further. The Jazz should have no problem winning this series without Luka. I still think the Mavericks have a chance even without him. But if the Jazz, if they don't beat the Mavericks without Luka Doncic, they're going to basically blow up this team. But this is going to be an uphill climb for the Mavericks. Jalen Brunson's going to, be the full-time point guard. Spencer Dinwiddie, that's been a tremendous trade for them. They don't have Tim Hardaway Jr. So I think this is problematic for the Mavericks. The Jazz, they must go in and steal this Game 1, especially without Luka, because we don't know if he's going to be available for Games 2 or 3. So it's going to be very important for the Jazz to try to steal one on the Mavericks' home court.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.